Hello, welcome to day 3 of the AI for Non-Tech Founders Masterclass. If you can hear me and you're excited for day 3, put day 3 in the chat. Today we're going to start where we left off yesterday, which yesterday what we learned about was ChatGPT's deep research agent and about the ChatGPT tasks feature within the platform. If you were able to play with the agent or set up a task that you have found useful for you, or just set up a task successfully, put yes in the chat. I want to know who you are. And share what you used it for. If you can hear me, put yes in the chat. And we'll start in exactly 2 minutes. And what did you use deep research for? Or what did you set up a task for based on what we did yesterday? Okay, perfect. And we'll start in 1 minute. All right, so it's 12:15. Let's start. Again, we're going to start where we left off yesterday. And the purpose of what I'm going to share with you today is I'm going to go through the most useful stuff that I think that we did not cover yesterday. So we're about to learn about projects, about Sora. Maybe we'll touch on a custom GPT. I think that those are actually the most useful for you. And then we'll end with ChatGPT's operator and some of the things that it can do as a browser use AI agent. And Jaquise, I hope I'm saying your name right. He said he did research on behavior in life coaching. Chip, what did you do research on? And if you're ready to start for today, put 1 in the chat. I'm going to bring up my screen. Also, if you have any questions on what we've already covered, start to put those questions in the comments, and then I'll answer them during the Q&A session of the live. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to bring up my screen here. And you should see this. Yes, do you see this? Put a yes in the chat. Some on earnings claims, Chip says, but spent a lot of time rewriting a lead magnet. Okay. Okay. So again, this is ChatGPT, and we're going to get into a few things that we did not cover yesterday. There's so much to cover. I really realized that I probably should do like a 10-day or 7-day course, because I could go for 45 minutes just on each one of these features, but I'm going to cover the things that I think are going to be the most useful. Now, when you're in your dashboard here, you'll see the search, you'll see the deep research, which we used yesterday, which is one of the agents that ChatGPT has. If you're on the Plus or the Pro plan, you will see it. And then here, you'll see the different versions that it has. So this is very important as we move forward to know kind of which one that you're using and what it was designed for. So the 4.0, as this says here, is great for most questions. We use the tasks yesterday. And then they just added this model, which is GPT 4.5. It's good for writing, for exploring ideas. O1 is advanced reasoning. O3 mini is advanced reasoning, but fast. And then coding and logic and best at reasoning. Now, the pro mode here, O1 Pro, takes a long time, but it can remember more things. So again, someone like Chip that deals with a lot of documents, very long documents as a lawyer, he would probably benefit from upgrading to Pro and having access to Operator, Sora, and Pro mode because there's just longer reasoning. So there's also on the sidebar here, what you'll see projects. Who has created a project so far in ChatGPT? Put yes or no in the chat. You may not even know that it existed. Put yes or no. You've created a project. Okay. So a project, think of it as a space. So to create a project, you're going to click the plus sign and then, projects keep chats, files, and custom instructions in one place. Use them for ongoing work or just to keep things tidy. So let's say that, let me give you a good example. Let's do like live videos on AI. What I could do is I could add files. So I could literally keep a place within ChatGPT where I upload the files of all the transcripts for the last 3 days and other AI trainings that I have done. And then it will pull from that information to create stuff. Do we understand this? So I'll actually give you an example here. So I have this one. I have many files in this one. You'll see 14 files because this one had 14 trainings in there. And what I could say, what were the most asked questions related to LinkedIn live video? So you could ask it something and it will search the project files. And as you can see, it's still working because it has like that little. So here are some of the most asked questions that it's pulling, and then it will give you a resource. Just like yesterday with deep research, it gave you kind of where it found that information. So if you're working on a particular project, or if you have just certain things that you're building within your business, these are things, this is how you could kind of keep it organized. And the difference between this and just going to the main chat is that it's pulling from data that is actually mine versus just data out there on the internet where it's going to assume the questions that I am asked, right? Another thing that I could say, create a course introduction based on the uploaded files. And so it will take the knowledge that's uploaded to this project, and then it will just create the introduction or whatever you prompted to create from the material. So are we understanding this? Put yes in the chat. And then, I mean, this is a long introduction, but you get the point. I see a good question in the chat, so I'm going to ask it. Are there any data or file size restrictions inside of ChatGPT projects? And then I think for Pro, it's bigger. So that's your answer. All right. Any questions on this before we proceed? All right. Now, we're going to cover 3 more things. A custom GPT. I think each of you should definitely have one. Then we're going to go into Sora and then the AI agent, the browser use agent for operator. Now, I'm going to bring something up real quick, so hold on. And 1 second. I got to bring up my screen. Okay. So within hold on. Okay. So within ChatGPT, you are able to create something called custom GPTs, which is basically a chat space like this, but that you provide custom instructions and you provide materials to so that you don't have to continue to prompt it over and over again. And this is actually a good step in terms of understanding processes and being able to communicate those instructions for the next step to be something like an operating agent. In this particular example, all I'm going to do is throw in a transcript. So this chat space right now, it's within ChatGPT. I trained it. Its function is to turn a transcript that is just from a video of mine and to output an article. So I don't have to tell it what to do every single time. I don't have to change my prompts. I'm literally just pasting a transcript and it will go through the same train process every single time. So its function is to do this. So the first step that it's told is that it's going to suggest a few articles. Then I will choose, and then it is designed to create that article. And it is designed to do it based on what I'm actually saying in the words of the article, like in the words of the transcript. So as you could see here, every single time that I write an article, I don't have to go through the process of please write a blog post or please write an article or please this. It's literally just throw it in and what I wanted to produce is output every single time. You could have different types of these and I'll build one in front of you. But I think like if you have not built one, put a 1 in the chat. I think this is you are sitting on massive opportunity, massive time saving potential if you're not building custom GPTs for the internal operations of your business. So if you have yet to build one, put a 1 in the chat. And yeah, that's wild. So what you would do, like, and we'll go through this process. And look, so without, you know, without any prompting, I just threw something in here and it gave it to me in the format that I would want. Now, if I wanted to adjust the instructions to remove emojis in the output or to add a certain signature, then I definitely could. Okay. So you're going to click New Chat. Over here, you'll see My GPTs. So do you see this? Does everyone see this? Put yes in the chat. Right here. Put yes in the chat. Okay. Well, I did have it up there. Okay, you're going to click My GPTs. At the top here, you'll see Create a GPT. You're going to click Create. And then you will see this area. So you could either go to the back end where it says Configure, where you could name your GPT. You could upload knowledge, so you could upload files, or you can go through the process of it asking you questions. And then where it says create up here, and you go back and forth. So either you input the instructions and then you save, or you go back and forth. Now, I personally like to ask ChatGPT what those instructions should be. So what I would do actually first is I would just go to a regular chat and I would say what I'm trying to achieve with the GPT, like what I'm trying to create, right? So what I could say is I could say, I want to create a custom GPT that will turn my transcripts into the following: YouTube titles, YouTube descriptions. What should those instructions be? And then it will provide you with some initial instructions. Now, this, like anything, takes refinement. So if you train a GPT, first of all, if you know what you need, if you know what good is versus not so good, it's easier to train, because if it outputs garbage, then you know that you're not there yet. So that's number one. Number two is having a little bit of patience to, we'll see what I'm talking about. Once you give the instructions and you test it, if it's not good enough, then you just have to make the instructions better. But you won't know how to make it better until you try it like 5 to 10 times. And then you could see where it keeps kind of going off the rails a little bit, right? So it created the instructions for me, okay? Now, I may not want this example format. I may say, make it more words. I'm also going to say, include the following. Include the following in each description. And I'm going to say, visit our website at, https www.ugrow.club. And then follow me on LinkedIn. And then I'll put my LinkedIn. So hold on. And why am I doing this? I'm doing this because ideally I wouldn't want to write this every single time, right? So this is where You need to have instructions that will eliminate you having to do things over and over again. All right. Now, once we get these instructions, we can go to the GBT. So I'm going to copy this. The way you copy is you just click this box down here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my GPT screen and I'm going to click configure. Then what I would do is I would say transcript to YouTube description creator. I don't know. It doesn't really matter what you call it. This turns transcripts into YouTube descriptions. And then here, I'm going to paste the instructions. Okay. So once you do that, you'll see that over here, it starts to, spin, and then you can click create. Then it will give you the option to do only me or anyone with the link, or you can add it for free to the GPT store, which is kind of like an app store on ChatGPT. Okay, so this is actually a good example. So because I use the brand name YouTube, it won't publish. So I'm going to put YT. So you can't use like YouTube, LinkedIn, like big names like that. I'm just going to create a new one. Hold on. I'll be like description creator. All right, so it's created. Now I don't need the link or anything yet, but I want to test it. So how do we know how well this works? Well, we'll only know if we literally, if we go to the actual GPT. You could test it here, but I like to actually just test it full screen. Hold on. So view GPT. And then what I'm going to do is I'll throw a transcript in there. Ideally, it should come out with a YouTube title and a description. And it's okay, right? So this is the first iteration, but there are a few improvements that I would want to make. Number one, maybe I would want it to give me 3 max, because the reason why I'm using this is I want to save time. So I don't want to have to sit here and decide between 25 titles. Then I'm not that big of a fan of emojis. They kind of drive me crazy. No offense to anyone who is. But yeah, they're not my biggest cup of tea. So I would want it to remove emojis in the output, or I would want an instruction that says only have maximum 2 emojis in the description. And then I wouldn't want to delete these type of things every single time, right? So what it would need to understand is that I could put an instruction inside where if it's a video, if the transcript is about LinkedIn, to direct people to the LinkedIn masterclass. If it's about AI, to direct people to the AI masterclass. And I could have those 2 instructions in there as well. it wouldn't take more than 15 to 20 more minutes, maybe 3 more back and forths for me to refine this where it's like A minus, right? And then that would then either myself or anyone on our team could use the tool almost every single time instead of having to write the description. What I could also do is I could go into the most successful videos that we have on YouTube. I could input those descriptions into the GPT, the knowledge of the GPT, so that it understands like these are our top performing descriptions and you should probably follow this format or the patterns that you experience in these formats because it's probably not an accident. And this is just like one use case, and I think that it's pretty powerful. So think of like one thing you could create a GPT for, because it could save you a lot of time, and just not just time, but context switching and mental energy that you could put towards higher leverage activities. Put yes in the chat if you're following. I know we have a lot to cover, so I'm trying to move relatively quick. But and what's one thing that you believe you could create a GPT for? Also, this is the last day that you could join the AI Mastermind community. The link to join is pinned to the top, so you'll see it. That link will expire. We meet weekly for group coaching, monthly for a 2.5 hour AI mastermind, so that we could all stay up to date and learn how to apply like the latest in AI to our businesses. Gemini versus, so this is a good question, Bill Rodriguez. Google Gemini versus Chat GPT doesn't matter. Google Gemini has this same capability, but they call it Google Gems. I think that's cute. Um, I think that they're good. Ironically, I still would do the instructions inside of ChatGPT because I've tested it where it like the gem performs better if ChatGPT's instructions are uploaded into it versus if Google's instructions are uploaded into it, which is funny. I just don't use Google Gemini enough to do it over there, but they are good. So it really depends on if if you're someone who's always using ChatGPT, why would you do it in Gemini? But if you're always using Google Gemini and you have the option to build a Google Gem, then I would probably do build a Google Gem. Yes. So to update the instructions, I would click this and then edit GPT. And then I would go into here and I would change the instructions. I would also upload files. Like I said, I could upload like the top 10 descriptions into here just so it has a little bit more knowledge. And, I won't get into this today, but you could even use these as a lead generation tool. Like you could build a free one. We have one on our website. If you go to growthacademy.global, you'll see like free tools, and then there's about section creator. You can get your LinkedIn profile about section written completely free, and at the end it will direct you towards a masterclass. There's even ways where people can sell things within it, like have links for payment, like for paid product services within the GPT. So even if you didn't have a website, this could be a tool for you to get leads. It just has to be built really well, and you just have to play with it a little bit to train it. So I think that's just, it's not necessarily an agent, but I think that people don't know about this tool enough and are not leveraging custom GPTs enough. So if that was helpful for you, put one in the chat. All right. Now there's two other things that we'll cover today, and I'm going to bring this over here. So when you have ChatGPT Plus or Pro, you'll have access to Sora and Operator. Now, you'll only have access to Operator if you're on Pro, but you will have access to Sora with either the Plus or the Pro. Sora is the video version of ChatGPT. So give me a funny prompt to create. Like we could literally create anything. So if I go here, you see Sora.com, and these are some of the featured videos. If you are someone who is going to create short form video, to have maybe longer form videos on YouTube, and to have any type of video where you're going to want B-roll. What is B-roll? B-roll is if Shanae starts talking about the 10 ways that she changed her life, and the first step was to like decide and commit and all of that, maybe I could have like a video of someone just like looking serious, making a decision. If I share about meditation, I could have a video of someone meditating. So they're like little, I wouldn't say interruptions, but opportunities within your videos to show something other than you just talking, right? Now, there are some video editing tools that have B-roll, but everyone has access to those same videos, and then they start to get old and everyone knows where you're getting them, and they may not necessarily fit exactly what you're trying to say or match your brand. So what you could do here is you could literally create videos with just a sentence of writing a word. And as you can see here, there's an elephant, there's cats, there's, I guess, a news reporter. This one's cool. Reading books under the water. And these are all created with AI that then potentially you could use for B-roll. Like if I sold like puppy food, I could potentially, or flowers, I could use this video in my B-roll or create something like, this is frightening. Let me know what you want to create. Put something funny in the chat. We could literally create anything. That is also frightening. Put what you'd want. B-roll. B as in boy. What do you want to create? Share your idea. I could sit here all day. What should we create? A panda picking flowers. Okay. A panda. I'll put a panda bear picking flowers. So as you can see here, it's added to the queue. And it's preparing 2 videos. 96% done. Oh, this one's cute. That's pretty wild, right? So we literally, in a second, have, I could download this. Let's say I was talking about panda bears in a video, I don't know, or animals and getting outside in nature. I can now download this and then use it as B-roll. I could also remix this. So describe changes, I could say picking tulips, and then it will change it to tulips. So I mean, if you have the plus plan and you do some sort of video, I mean, it's fun to just see what's possible, even if you won't really use this that often. But if you definitely do edit or create a lot of videos, this is a very useful tool. Are there any questions about this? A flower picking pandas. Okay, let's just do that one before we move forward. That's funny. So, a flower picking pandas. And just imagine the possibilities. Like there's people that literally can create like mini movies or mini 3 minutes. Like you could essentially, if you were a phenomenal storyteller, almost compete with something like Pixar in a 1 minute or 3 minute film by just being creative enough and telling a story like this little astronaut. I could imagine that, right? Um, and to think that like these tools are just like they're right here, like they're at our disposal. The sky really becomes the limit. Let's see, and then we'll move forward. It's probably like what. Any more questions in the meantime? Yes, it is very cool, Charles. Yes, you could upload images and even like give it inspiration, like when you originally prompt it. So here you see, you could choose from library, you can add an image or a video. It will use it as inspiration. You could change the format. So it could go vertical, square, horizontal, the quality. So if it's 1080p, and as you can see here, you only get 480p on the plus, but the pro you get 720 or 1080. It's just, it takes a lot longer for it to be produced. And then you have different duration of the video. So video of up to 20 seconds or 15 seconds, 10 seconds. And then do you get two versions, four versions, or just one? And they have different presets, right? So the managed presets are film noir, cardboard, balloon world where everything is made out of balloons. So like if we did film noir, it would probably be like black and white, looks like a vintage film and all of that. And you could even preset your own design. So where if people were to see that particular B-roll style, they could potentially think of your brand. And this one's taking longer, so we'll just, oh, here we go. It's 0% now, 99%, just in time. So it didn't do it, right? It's still doing, I don't think it understands. But I could say like a flower with big arms picking up a panda bear. I would have to make the prompt more specific. So just like anything, the prompting is really the skill. All right, put a one in the chat if that was cool. If you see Sora in your dashboard now and you'll test it out. Okay. So then the browser use agent that you will only see if you have the pro plan, but that I think is important for you to obviously know about because there's like it will just become more common and there's other ways to set this up outside of ChatGPT is operator. So if you have the pro plan, you'll see operator up here. And then what it will do is bring you to an entirely new screen. And this is where you would put in a prompt for it to actually do something. So people have reserve a table for 8 at a seafood restaurant. It will actually search for the restaurant, reserve the table, and maybe even complete payment with your permission. So just because you put something in the prompt, I want to be very clear, um it's not going to not need you. There will be places where maybe you have to log in, and we'll kind of look at that very shortly, right? So what I'm going to do, and what we did earlier this week was we asked it to create an appointment link in the Google Calendar, which is pretty cool. What I'm going to ask it to do now is, or just on the behalf of it, I'm going to ask it to create a table in Notion, but I'm going to kind of speed this process up by just like logging in very quickly and then just bringing it to the page. So just give me a second and then we will literally see it, do what it's supposed to do. So hold on, let me just log in because it's going to ask me for all the login stuff. Okay, hold on. I just have to log in. It's almost there. Okay, so here we go. So I logged it in, it's just in front of a page. So as you can see, like it's doing this by itself. And the prompt was Log into my Notion and create a content calendar for March and April 2025. Created for LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube with daily video uploads. And it like all it had was the empty page, and then it clicked on like the database for the content calendar. It's changing the dates to be March and April. Like, I'm not clicking anything. Do we understand this? Put yes in the chat if you understand. Shanae's arms are up. And so obviously we don't have to watch it the entire time, but you would be working, it would be creating a content calendar. I could give it you could upload a file down there. I could give it a list of clients. It could organize it into a spreadsheet in Notion for me, right? As I'm working in the background. It says exploring duplication for efficiency. That's funny. And in this particular prompt, all I'm telling it to do is like set up the table. I'm not telling it to like create the content. So this is very important. Like you don't want to overload it. You have to think of it as like being able to like do one great thing at a time. Like first you would want this set up, and then maybe you could go and ask it, okay, now suggest like fill in the content names with suggestions based on what you know about my brand. Or you can upload files if like it can't just search for your brand online or you don't use it that much. And as you can see here, what is it trying to do? Let's see. Okay, it just wants to tag it as YouTube and it's changing. Are you sure you want to delete this? Canceling delete. There you go. Got it. So isn't this wild? Put one in the chat if this is insane. So it can't log in without you. That's why I like didn't share my screen because it will ask you to, hey, like if I say, hey, log into my Google account and like set up set up a Google Sheets for me, it will need me to log in. So in the beginning, you have to like I at any point here also I could like take control, by the way. I could pause it or like take control, right? You see take control right here? So if I say take control, I could kind of do things and then go back. But if you need to log into something or put like payment information, it will ask you to take control. And then you would click this, go into that browser, log in, and then it will proceed. Now, what they say is that, like, as you're logging in, it's not saving that information, right? The other beautiful thing is, like, you can have more than one of these running at a time. And I want you to put, like, wow in the chat if you just heard me, because this is browser. This is like you having like 25 Chrome tabs open. What ChatGPT does is it allows you to have multiple of these running at a time. So I could create a new one right now that can help me design a confirmation page for my landing page. And that's actually what I'm going to do. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen really quick, and then we could see how it could literally help fill out a landing page for you, which is wild. And as you can see here, it's getting it right. So it has the posts. It's calling it LinkedIn video, YouTube video, LinkedIn video, Twitter video. It's tagging it. It's putting the dates that are appropriate for, it maybe missed like 3 of the dates because March 3rd passed. But I could pause it at any time and say, hey, it's March 7th, upload the dates for me. Right? I could pause it at any time and say, I don't like the template inside of these pages. Could you like create a new one for us? And it will actually do it. And this is why it's so important for you to know, like, yes, this is a baby. Yes, this takes a long time. Yes, maybe most people won't use this yet, but this will be like ChatGPT is today, like the norm in 12 months, to have like agents and operators doing these type of tasks for you for hours at a time. And think about how that will affect like your business in terms of your clients. If let's say you sell something that teaches Notion, now I don't necessarily need to learn Notion, even though it's still a good idea to get familiar with it. But I could have an agent like set up the things that I want. I could give it context about my clients, how maybe it should be set up for them, the instructions that it should have, or I could build it and then have like the operator just go in and improve it. But I don't need to learn as much as I would have necessarily had to before. Does that make sense? Put a yes in the chat if that makes sense. So I'm going to show you another use case now. Hold on, I just have to log in. Please see. Yes. So Bruce, yes. But I wouldn't use operator for that. And so Camille says try web UI/browser use. So I'm going to be releasing a video on how to do this. You have to do a little bit of connecting with, a little bit of coding, but the code is publicly available on GitHub. I don't think it's better. Just personally, I like operator better, but I'm not a coder, right? So I just like I also like the user friendliness of it and how it looks a lot better. I would use O1 Pro mode, and I would tell it to analyze the data. So when we went down the drop bar of ChatGPT, I would use the ones that say reasoning, logic, that are just like higher level, because they should be able to like identify patterns and trends. Now, once you have that and you have something that based on those patterns and trends, maybe you need a code implemented into the spreadsheet, or maybe you need to reorganize the spreadsheet or whatever, then you could tell operator to do it. But I think that it can sometimes get overwhelmed if you ask it to do, it's like asking a social media manager to be the strategist, as well, right? It's just different functions, different strengths, different people. Usually, what the manager does is manage the distribution of the content, but they're not necessarily the strategist of what type of content is being created. So you have to think this is why they're calling it like vertical agents, because they're going to be really great at certain things and maybe not so great at others. Yeah, so Camille's like, if let's say you absolutely cannot afford operator, just wait for my next YouTube video. It will show you with I'm not a coder. I just asked ChatGPT how to do it and what I need to do, or Claude. Claude is actually good for coding. And you could do this from your computer, but it's not the same, right? And because I'm not a coder, I don't trust the protections that I have in some of these tools as much as like just this one. And maybe that's completely wrong. It's also just a lot more user friendly for me. Yes, vibe code. Please tell me what to put next. um yeah, so James, it's the GitHub browser use. And they have so in my next YouTube video upload, I'll show you how to do the free one on your computer, but they also have like a $30 paid one that they built. But again, like in my opinion, you get what you pay for, right? I think if you're a coder and you know how to implement protections, controls, like that's how you work. I think the browser use, the free one with other coding tools, is probably the best, but I'm not a coder. So this one is the best one that I've tried so far, and I've tried a few of them. Okay. So let me get to, I'm getting distracted. I have to log into my next thing so I can show you guys. But this is great, but like what are you going to do with it? Right? And what time do you have to put aside to start playing with these tools? Because as you can see, they do require time. Like it's going to take 3 to 5 minutes to like put in your password for protections and all of those things, and then for it to get going, but it works in the background. So it's loading here. We're almost there. And then all right. One more minute. Hold on. All right, I think we're good. All right, so let me share my screen. All right, so let me share my screen here. Yep. So as you can see, sometimes it will say, okay, I'm in here. What do you want me to do? And does that sound good? I said, yes, please proceed. And so as you can see here, the title has been updated, 3-day ChatGPT class for beginners. Where is the text? I guess it's down. Hold on. Could you provide me some details on a description for the class? I'm just going to say you create it. It's a 3-day class where I teach business owners to use ChatGPT. Now, this is where I'll draft a description. Okay, should I go ahead? Yes. This is where using, let's say, like O1 Pro or just having this information will accelerate the process, right? And as you can see here, it's changing the landing page, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to have to go back and forth with it a lot just because it doesn't have the base content yet. But I'm not teaching it how to do this. Like, in its knowledge, it knows how to update landing pages and designs and all of that in Kajabi. I could give it a photo. I could say, do my about, here it is, add my photo, make it this color. I could give it websites that say, hey, I want my landing page to look something like this, and it will make it look something like that. I am not moving my hands, and I, in 10 minutes, could have a filled out landing page without knowing how to do any of this stuff, which is insane. If this is insane, put insane in the chat. So this is just another use case. Now, do you get a landing page in 1 minute? No, because it's going to ask you like, hey, do you like this? Do you want this? It may get stuck here and there, but in an hour or two, like with you just working on the side, not even doing anything crazy, you could have a really good landing page. Especially if like your constraint is the technical knowledge. So it's attempting to edit the button. So okay. Oh my gosh, it's gonna ask for help. So I'm gonna take control because I know how to do it. So I'm just gonna click it once. I think it's trying to double click. Or here it is. And then I could say the settings are on the right. But if I had patience, or I wasn't paying attention, it would have gone to the help or the chat, and it would have tried to troubleshoot that problem on its own. Isn't this wild? So and the other one is still working. I mean, look, and it's already doing preview mode. Like it wants to see, it's updating the benefits. I could have a landing page in an hour without ever using this tool. Let me go back to the calendar. Are there any questions on this? So this is why like day one wasn't really technical. Look, it's almost, I mean, in 40 minutes, this will be done and completely organized with upload dates, platform uploads. Then I could ask it while I'm doing another hour of work or a meeting to go back in and suggest titles based on the highest performers that I have. I could upload my YouTube data, my LinkedIn stuff, and it could just do this while I am doing other things, which is just the potential is the sky's the limit. It's just knowing where you can leverage these tools to the best benefit of your business and also not going down a rabbit hole just because it's fun or exciting, but like where it could actually move the needle for whatever goals that you have in your business. And so that's really what I wanted to show you guys today. I mean, we go a lot more in depth into all of this in the AI community. Click the link at the top. It's pinned to the top to join. Today will be obviously the last day that you could join with that link. And this stuff changes every day. And one of the things is like I dedicate a lot of my time to just kind of understanding what is being released, using it, and then understanding what could be the most practical things that I could share with my audience. And I tried to be really diligent about that. That's why I have these free videos, free classes, all of that stuff. But if you're really serious about just staying in the know and being trained on it in a small group, you know, no more than 20 people, usually around 15, then click the link at the top and we'll continue to learn and grow together. Are there any more questions before I sign off for the day? Yes, I am shook. Like, this is crazy. Just think about it. Now, like if you're a one person operation, like you could have a landing page being built, a whole content calendar while you're coaching clients or building something else. I mean, literally, and this is only going to get better. I'm telling you, I have YouTube videos that are maybe from 4 months ago, 5 months ago. It took probably 10 minutes for it to search Amazon, Christmas tree. You know, now it's doing like whole content calendars and landing pages in the background. Is it perfect? No. Does it get stuck here and there? Is it still a little bit slow if you know exactly what you're doing? Yeah, but wait for 3 months. Somebody put holy shit. So, you know, more than anything, I hope this 3-day masterclass like expanded your mind. But again, the ultimate leverage is knowing your business, knowing yourself, your strengths, knowing where to start applying these tools and making it priority so that you have the time to practice and learn, because there is no learning until you start to use them and start to use them often. And then once you get a familiarity with them, the second layer of leverage is, okay, well, I know my clients' businesses. How could I help them gain an advantage by using these tools? How can I inform them about this? And hopefully you care about your clients and your own business enough to do that. So click the link at the top if you want to join the mastermind community. God bless you. Thank you so much for coming, and I will see you next time. Also, if you want to join the LinkedIn Growth Challenge next week, it's going to be basically how you grow your personal brand on LinkedIn, all the things you need to know as a founder All you have to do to register for that is go to ugrow.club. It's amazing. And I'll see you next week. Ciao.